Shalom, brothers and sisters. Your brother Yezreela from the Northern Kingdom, bringing some edification for you Negro, Latino, and Indigenous, who are the biblical Israelites. And before I start, I want to give all praise and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Barakatam, Rakakadash. Let Yahweh being the name of the Lord, not Jehovah, or God, or Yah, or Ahaya. It's Yahweh, the creator of all the ancient of days. Bahasham is in the name of, and Yahweh Shai is the one you guys call Jesus or the Christ, signally speaking. And we give double honors to elders in GMS where we learn this truth. Shalom to the apostles, the bishops, and to the men down on the highways and byways, giving the 100% truth day and night. Shalom to you and your households. And shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel, La Bakar in the Hebrew, the house of David being rebuilt as we speak. Shalom to you. And shalom to the speckled birds among the heathen nations that look like the heathen nations, but return to the house of Israel and are being edified by these videos. Shalom to you. The date today is August 3rd of 2025, our hopeful year of salvation and the destruction of the nation of Edom. Okay, so I had a day off from work, and I thought it would be a great change to make a nice video underneath this tree. Not just any tree, this is a fig tree. So this is a nice fig tree that is blooming, that is giving fruit as we speak. It's not just giving shade, but it's giving fruit. Okay? So I thought that would be a nice change in pace, and show my face, of course, and do a lesson underneath this tree. And so I wanted to speak about salvation, because salvation from Genesis to Revelation, the only people that are mentioned by name is the nation of Israel. Don't you think that's kind of odd? That salvation is always tied with the name of Israel, and that you can't find any other nation mentioned to salvation or everlasting salvation. You're not going to hear about Moabites receiving everlasting salvation. You're not going to hear about Ishmaelites receiving salvation. You're not going to hear about Edomites receiving salvation. Why is that? Right? You're always going to get vague terms like the Gentiles are receiving. Yeah, absolutely. And those Gentiles are Israelites. Oh, but brother, the Corinthians are receiving salvation. Of course, because those Corinthians are Israelites. But in the book of Galatians, yes, because the Galatians are Israelites. All those letters, let me just break it down. People have the incorrect terminology of Gentile, okay? First, a Gentile could be any nation. It just means nation. That's it. Nation. The nation of Israel is a Gentile as well. Okay? Why? Because the 10 tribes abandoned their law, statutes, and commandments and became idolaters. Okay? And that followed by some of the Jews that were Hellenized, that were later called Greeks. Yes, and if you're not dealing with this, if you're only dealing with 66 books, there is nothing I could tell you, man. You know what I mean? You're dealing with a slave Bible and a slave mentality, because you don't have all the books, you don't have all the history, and you're reading something without understanding. Okay, so that's what we're telling you, that we have to have all the complete puzzle. You have to get the whole complete puzzle to put it together, and that's why these religions never have the answer, because they don't have the whole puzzle, first and foremost. And second, they were never called or chosen, right? Because religions are of the damn devil anyways. Okay, because who was creating sacrifices and who was allowed into the temple? Only the Israelites. Well, did that change? No, it has not changed. And that's not going to change in the kingdom of heaven. We can read that in the book of Revelation. They said measure the court, right? Measure the court, but don't measure the court, sorry, because that court is for the Gentiles. They're not allowed inside. They're never going to be allowed inside the temple. They're only going to be outside in the courtyard. So you have to understand that. Why is that going to change? Why? Because they're Gentiles. These are heathens. Okay, we're going to teach them the law, statutes, and commandments. Okay, so if you're learning religion and all this stuff, of course, because the devil created that. Right? Now he's telling you that it's all inclusive, that everybody could be an Israelite, a spiritual Israelite. When have you seen a spiritual Korean? Right? You've seen a so-called white man, and he chinked up his eyes and said, I like Chinese movies and I like Chinese food. I'm a spiritual Korean or a spiritual Chinese person. You must be out your damn mind, man. You know what I mean? That's just bananas. But that's what these holy rollers, these Christians, right? That's what they believe. But that's not what it means. Okay, so we're going to read salvation, right? And we're not going to add any words. We're just going to read it verbatim. Okay? So let's go to that. This is Acts. Well, let's start from the top. Salakia. This is Acts 13 and 20. And after, this is Paul. Remember, he's in the Greek province. And then he started to speak Hebrew to them. And after that, he gave unto them judges about the space of 450 years until Samuel the prophet. And afterward they desired a king. And God gave him unto them Saul, the son of Cis, a man of the tribe of Benjamin, by the space of 40 years. And he's of the tribe of Benjamin, right? Verse 22. And when he had removed him, he raised up unto them, when Saul was removed, because remember, he disobeyed the orders of Yahweh, what happened? When he was removed, he raised up unto them David. Remember, David was anointed while Saul was still king. Okay? Raised up unto David, their king, to whom also he gave testimony, and said, I have found David, the son of Jesse, a man after my own heart, which shall fulfill all my will. Okay? So here you are showing a bloodline, right? Of this man's seed has God according, and if you look up that word seed, okay, in the Greek, it's going to be sperma, which means sperm, has God according to his promise raised unto Israel a Savior, Yahweh Shai. So it doesn't mention anybody else. It doesn't mention anybody else. It's just the whole reason the Messiah came is for the nation of Israel. Matthew 1 and 21, Matthew 2 and 6, Matthew 15 and 24, right? All these things are always pointing, but people don't want to hear it. Verse 24. So that's really 23 is a verse, but I want to read one more that Paul drives it in verse 26, which is right here. Acts 13 and 26. Men and brethren, children of the stock of Abraham. Right? Because when you hear Abraham, you already know that Abraham had two sons. But who did he give the blessing to? He didn't give it to his firstborn, Ishmael. He sent Ishmael packing. He was rejected. Okay? So you always hear, the people that are always making this argument are the bloodline of those people. The Ishmaelites would be the so-called Arabs today, which they created their own religion, Islam, right? Which is, I have no problem with. You could believe in rocks. I don't give a shit, right? You could believe. Remember, the people in Gaza are getting bombed to shit out. Have them call Allah. Let's see where he shows up, right? So I have no problem with that. But that's the line that was rejected. And then the other son that was rejected, okay, was Isaac's son, the firstborn, Esau, which is the so-called white man. He's rejected. So those are always two rejects that are coming and trying to make trouble, right? So again, Acts 13 and 26, men and brethren, children of the stock of Abraham. When he's talking about stock of Abraham, he's talking about the chosen seed, right? Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. And whosoever among you, because that's what he's talking about, the whosoever, because a lot of people here in John 3 saying whosoever, That's not talking about everybody. It's talking about, that's a code word for the name of Israel. Like I told you, the sheep, the wheat, the stones, whosoever. It's talking about Israel. Okay. When whosoever among you feareth God, to you Israelites, that's what he's saying, is the word of this salvation sent to. Okay. He's not talking to anybody else but the specific group, because he does the same thing in Romans 9. Okay? He tells you, he breaks it all down what belongs to Israel. Right? The promises, the covenants, the grafting in, the adoption, all that is to Israel. But people don't want to hear it. Of course not. Because salvation is only promised to the nation of Israel. So let's close with that. I would say Romans 11. Romans 11. Because there's another chapter that these people take out of context, of course. But let's get to the point. Let's drive it home. And let's get to the point where Paul, right? This is Romans 11 and 26. And so all Israel shall be saved. No. Wait. What about the Corinthians? What about the Ishmaelites? What about the Moabites? What about the Ammonites? What about the Edomites? And so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written. Where is it written? Because this is already written in Genesis. Okay. That there shall become out of Zion a deliverer, and that's Isaiah 53. Okay. A deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. Okay. So all Israel will be saved. Even though 2/3 of the nation of Israel are going to die, eventually the Lord is going to let them in. Remember, there's the kingdom of heaven is for the Israelites. All the nations are going to be there, but they're going to be our slaves. Okay? You're not going to compare what the Israelites living in the kingdom of heaven to a Moabite or to an Edomite. He's going to be in your fields picking your fruit. Can't compare that. Okay? The kingdom of heaven is for you Israelites to enjoy. After thousands of years of slavery, remember, Egypt, Assyria, right? Babylon, Persia, Medes, Greeks, Romans, all this, Spanish, Dutch, French, Americans. After all that slavery, then are you going to enjoy the kingdom of heaven here on earth. Now you're going to be floating in some cloud. You're going to be on earth, okay, walking around, enjoying the kingdom of heaven, which heaven just means rulership, okay? We're going to have spiritual bodies. We're not going to be floating around with a harp. And we're going to be surrounded by naked babies, like these Edomites, these devils tell you. No, the kingdom of heaven is going to be on earth, man. We're going to be ruling the earth. These people are going to be below us, okay? And that's what salvation is going to be, okay? That's what these people cannot and will not understand, because if that's true, that means that what? That their forefathers have inherited lies. And that's true. They have inherited lies. They had to make this lie to include themselves in it. This is our book. This is our story. Okay? Remember, we're the underdog in the whole story. This whole world is about to find out who the Israelites really are. The people in Gaza are getting punished. Where is Allah? Okay? The people in the Ukraine, they're getting their ass handed to. Okay? And they believe into Abrahamic religion, right? They're so-called Christians. Why doesn't it stop that war? Because this is all prophecy that the end of the world will happen. And that the gospel, okay, not Christianity, not Catholicism, was going to go all throughout the whole world. That shit already went around the world thousands of times. That's not what it's saying in Matthew 28. The gospel is the good news for you Israelites, you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you people that got sold to the four corners of the wind, okay? As it is said in Deuteronomy 28:64, as it is said in Deuteronomy 4:27, as it is said in Ezekiel 36. You got sold to the nations, not because God hates you because of your punishment, because of your hard-headedness, because of your stony heart. But now, in these last days, the Lord is calling the elect of the nation of Israel. One third, one small number, that grape, which represents the elect of the nation of Israel, brothers and sisters. That's who's going to wake up. That's who salvation is for. Not even all of Israel can receive it. All Israel will be saved in the end, we said, but that's in the kingdom of heaven. Not here in the now. America has to be destroyed. People got to go into slavery. That's right. Slavery is coming back in a great way. And the people who enslaved you, they're going to get enslaved, right? That's just karma, brothers and sisters, all right? That's not even deep, all right? He who leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. That's Revelation 13 and 9, okay? So we don't have to go and flog a dead horse because we already know the precepts. We know that what we're saying is true because the Bible reflects us and it doesn't reflect them. And they're finding out. That's why they're losing their mind. That's why they're shooting out. That's why they're running into crowds with their cars, all boozed up. What do you expect the devil to do? So be aware, right, that these people are around you. Don't hang around these people, of course, and be with you and yours. Don't be unequally yoked. If your relatives don't even believe in it, you shouldn't be hanging around them. All right, be solitary. Forget about it. The kingdom of heaven is for all Israelites, but the kingdom of heaven is for the elect of the nation of Israel here and the now. So that's it, brothers and sisters. I hope you guys got edified. I hope you understand what time we're in. That our salvation is closer than we believe. That all these things must have to happen. These wars, these prophecies, everything that we've said, that the Apostle Tahar and the apostles of the Great Millstone have fulfilled, is happening. The mark of the beast is upon us. And all this, Jeremiah 30 and 7, Jacob's trouble is at hand. The people that are getting rounded up, thrown into alligator, right, Alcatraz and all these other places, okay? We don't know where our friends are, where our relatives are going to end up, but we have hope. So that's it, brothers and sisters. I hope you understand. Call halal Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, Barakatham, Rakakitash, and he that have ears, let him hear. Shalom.